We got Rilla in the building.
It's your boy Young Dundada on the ones and twos. You already know what it
What?
is.
Here we go with the recklessness.
Yeah, you know how we do.
Um, I forgot the topic already. I'm over here. I'm all
It's
short.
that,
That's
that
why.
it's fine. You're fun size like the candy. No one wants a
No.
king size chocolate bar.
No.
If I offer you one right now, you're like no, but like you'll take a dozen mini Snickers.
Yeah, actually, absolutely right. Because I don't even like chocolate like that, so I will take a small Snickers over.
Exactly. I'm just saying like no one likes big like candy like that. So I don't even mean it in a demeaning way. I'm just saying like yo
No.
like everyone like little things.
I don't know what's up with tall people between Rilla and Brandy in the past couple of weeks. People just been coming at my height indiscreetly and not realizing that I am paying attention. Like I see you all. I hear you all. I'm not I'm stop hurting my little feelings, okay?
No one wants to hurt your little
My
feelings.
little
You have
feelings.
big feelings.
Just big.
Yeah.
I got big energy. I don't know about big feelings, but
I mean, whatever. It's all good. We're all humans.
yeah, today we are here again. I just said I forgot to talk forgot the title.
It's musical business etiquette.
Musical business etiquette.
Yes.
And what does that mean? We're gonna save this. We're gonna play it back. Shout out to Michelle, City Councilor Michelle Wu. We had her on earlier talking about art, food, justice, and their game plan for when they become mayor. And we hope to see a lot of candidates come through to Lunch Is Ova on Spark FM. But now we're going to talk about how you all artists, including myself, our etiquette is just poor. I like to not out people without outing myself though too. I feel like there's a way you see somebody's Instagram and they say DM me no bookings. I'm that person. I'll end up in your Instagram DMs by accident and then
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh my bad, I'm gonna email you.
Yeah.
But I still end up emailing. But I'm just like letting you know I'm coming for you.
Yeah. I mean, there's situations where people will hit me for like songwriting or production or whatever, and they'll hit me on like my Facebook Messenger, like my personal one, and I'm like, no, just like email me at this thing, and they're like, why? And I'm like, well, because I don't. It's my personal account. Like you're hitting them out for business. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just like standard stuff. Like nothing crazy.
This is a question for you. Do people ever send you music on Instagram?
All the time.
I didn't I never thought to ask you that. Do people right, okay.
Send you music with nothing. Send you music with like, hey, this is my new single, blah blah blah. And then so I like when people actually try. They'll be like, hey Rilla, I like listened to the last song you just released and like this is
Right.
dope, blah blah blah.
They
Here's my
tried.
song, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's cool, man. I mean, shoot your shot, but I don't know. They're just a
Shoot your
way of
shot.
doing stuff.
Shoot for the stars, pop smoke,
Yeah.
Quavo. I I started sending people links back to my music now
Yeah.
that I got it. But then I felt bad. But I was just like, I told you all not to DM this stuff because look, bro, you know what happened. If you know, you know. But if not, whatever. Send everything to Boston Got Next. But then sometimes people send links. And what if you don't have Spotify, Apple,
Right.
YouTube? What if you don't have a phone or something like? Well, you have to have a phone, I guess.
Yeah, I
I
get
don't,
maybe.
I
I
don't
don't
get, I
know.
don't get carried away. But what if you don't have those streaming services? I'd personally rather you send me a link to like a website or something I can pick which one I can do, unless we're already engaging in a conversation, and then you send me a link to the song. But just shoving my DMs with your music, I know when they're forwarded. I always say I know when they're forwarded. And then that's cute though. At least they
Yeah,
tried. They
and
tried. They
and
said, "Hey, Rella, I see you with the dreads and everything like that."
yeah.
And you got the dreads on Fiesta and you're doing your thing. And I see you nominated, but did you hear my new project?
Yeah, and that's what it is. And like my whole thing is like I don't know. I never hit anyone up with like I'm a very direct person, but also I'm not gonna just blindside you with like if we've never met before
Right.
and I DM you or private message you whatever like hey Sham like I'm Rilla Force here's my single and like
Right.
that's it like that doesn't that's like it's like cold emailing someone
Right.
it
It's
doesn't make
very
any
cold.
sense you
Oh,
know what I mean
very
like
cold.
and I'm a big proponent on just building relationships even if they're like as superficial as like oh hey how do I get to know you? Let's listen to your
Right.
music and you can
Something.
listen to my music and like
Right.
that's just something like that. You
It
know what I
seems
mean?
corny, but at this point, like, there's way too many artists like shoving stuff down people's throats.
It's not corny. It's networking.
Right, it's networking.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is. And I may, well, for me, I'm always like the tough cookie. Just because you send me music today doesn't mean I'm gonna listen to it today.
Facts.
I tell people that all the time. Like I have to get set in the mood. and I'm gonna be biased. If it's not like somebody I already know, like you
Mhm.
all, or I'm not gonna play that the same day it comes out.
Yeah.
But I always feel special when people come up and be like, I just bumped it, like, you know.
Mhm.
But if you're, especially a cold cut calling me, and texting too. And that's why I was like, oh, I'm about to switch my number soon because people started doing some forward chains.
Yeah.
It got crazy.
That's weird. I
It
don't
got
know.
crazy.
That's crazy.
I'm like, nope, we got to switch up that marketing game because you're not going to use my number for a group message.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm excited that we have a lot of people who's like, you know, ambitious and whatever. But there's just etiquettes. There's just ways to go about things. Huh. This is, but I was like, this is, it could get crazy.
No, I mean, there's just I think when people are entering in the arts, creative arts, and just they're overzealous about what they're doing because, like, you know, when you're in the new phase or in the baby phase, everything is new, everything
Right.
is shiny, everything's nice. You make like boom boom pap and like, wow, I did that, that's cool, and then you want to show people and stuff like that. But just like having a job or just like doing an interview, there's etiquette to everything. Like, you don't just show up to your job 20 minutes late. Or like just show up to your job and you work in produce and you're like out here cutting meat. Like that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like
I
you,
hope not. And probably some people are just out here just cutting produce and meat and not, you know,
yeah, nah,
No.
we don't do that. But it's just my whole thing is just like coming correct and just even, you know,
What does coming correct mean to you? Like if somebody asked you for a beat, what would you do? Like what would you want them to do?
I mean, just asking me for a beat is fine. But then when I give you the next, okay, so if you ask me, hey, Rilla Force, how do I get a beat from you? I'll be like, hey, random person, here's all my prices and all my whole itinerary, like what I have going on. If you wanted to book a live session, I
Nice.
pretty much make it so the cards are all in your hand and I give you all the information you need so you don't have to
Ooh,
ask any
wanting
more
more.
questions. Cause like, let's be real, like I'm trying to eat, you're trying to eat.
Right.
Like, let's do it. Let's do whatever we gotta do.
Right.
If you can't afford what I'm doing right now, my services or my products, that's fine. At least you have the information.
And you know what to come back to.
Yeah,
And
and
you
you
get
know,
that.
and if you have questions, just ask. But I think the whole thing is like people. What kills me? People's like, oh, Rilla, send me beats. Here's my email, and I'm like, I don't know you. Like, I don't know what's going on. Or just like, hey, Rilla, like, like you
I don't know
engineer,
you.
like mix this song and just send me the song. Like in like
You gotta start sending back your Cash App and PayPal when they do that.
oh man,
No,
I
that changes the game.
I
Trust
mean
me. And people get mad at me now when I send them the link. It's like you want to mainstream business, and sometimes people don't want to see your growth. I'm like, you're DMing me about DJ bookings, and I'm like, oh, you was mad I didn't have a website before. Oh, I created a website. Oh, well now there's a Square link so you book it. Oh, now you. But I feel like when it comes to, uh, people just want that easy, accessible access and
yeah.
whatever. But if it was anybody else, if the services was in California, was in New Mexico, no matter whatever it is, you'll be filling out the link online.
Mm-hmm.
You'll figure out how to get it done. But when it comes to people, I feel like they think that they can, let's say, you can touch or you can reach out to. It's different.
My biggest pet peeve is just hearsay. Just like, all right, well, I heard that you just randomly hit up someone and like that's how things work. And I'm like, everyone's
No.
different. But also like just treat it like as your profession. Like, would you just knock on I don't know whoever's door who you want to
Right.
work with? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it just if how would you feel if someone's doing it to you?
And the thing is, people sometimes really don't care.
Yeah.
And that's what I started to see. Like, they really don't care if it's not about in their moment. With me, I honestly just forget about people. So I'm sitting this out there now. Like, and I don't say it like in a bad way, but like my brain moves a millisecond like each. But it's just like when I get back, see, I'm like, all right. But some people just really don't care about what you got going on.
Yeah.
It's like,
And I
I
think
want this beat. You said
hmm
you can wait, your website is like whatever, it's too complicated. So like, no, could you help? No, I'm not walking you through anything.
yeah. And like even if you like if even if you say hey your website's complicated XYZ, I'm happy to explain it.
So
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like at least like just let them know like hey this is what this is blah blah blah. If you have any more questions, email me whatever. Like stop texting me, stop DMing me. Like you know what I mean? I just don't like when people do that because that's not for me. It's like my social media is for networking
Right.
and like you know there's a reason why I have a website. There's a reason why I have my link tree where it says book me for production inquiries
Right.
and DJ inquiries and everything
Rilla
else. You
has
know
it
what I mean?
all.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
like
I'm
stop it.
I'm making it very easy for people
Right.
to approach me with whatever situation they want my services for, and I feel like when you do that, you're setting yourself up for two things and multiple things. But I'll talk about two. One, you're putting yourself in a platform where you're trying to hold yourself accountable and be serious about
Mm-hmm.
this. It's not a hobby anymore. It's a career.
Right.
It's your job.
Yeah, think people don't get that.
Yeah.
Say it again. It's your job. It's our job, folks. It's our job.
And then number two, it's just like now it's like now that you establish that there's like trying to match the same energy. If there's an artist who you think or whoever's trying to contact you to for your services and they're not about the business,
Yep.
that's not their job, that's their hobby. You know what I mean? And just like weeding it out, you know what I mean? So like that's why I do stuff like that. Otherwise I'd just be like, hey, buy beats all the time on a story or something like that. And like I just wanna work with people who are serious because this is my career. Like I don't have a day job.
Yeah.
Like this everything I make is off of music or what I'm doing in music. That's it.
I just realized that now that has become my life, everybody. But yeah, that's the studio, trying to book folks, editing, um, and we just want to give so much love,
Mm-hmm.
but and support everybody, and then sometimes it just we get I don't know, not played, but like I feel like the word is used. Like I try to be nice, but like it's really end up being used.
Yeah.
So like, what do you? I don't know. What is your most frustrating thing about the industry right now? And it's not even like Boston or New York or whatever, but just like about music in general. Um, I that's how I'll navigate it. I
Yeah.
think there should be more contracts and stuff in place.
Yeah.
I think there should be more just knowledge of learning about just like royalties. Shout out to Red Shades. They're always dropping knowledge. They're always hosting events to get artists like prepared
Mm-hmm.
for their career. But there's like a lot of missing gaps when it comes to just working in business. And say if we're out here kicking it right now and we made a song in the studio, um, who was it? It was Lizzo. Lizzo got the big thing going on with the rights or whatever like
Oh
that,
yeah.
and there's like the credits. So also too, watch out for everybody who's trying to be in a room just for writing credits stuff like that, because ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
But but if you came up with a project and I don't know, I wrote the hook or something like that, and you take my hook, do should I get like any type of
I mean, my whole thing is like when we even sometimes even before the finished product, but once you have the finished product, there's multiple things you gotta do. You gotta talk about the splits of the song. You gotta talk about who did what. Talk about all the information where everything's go. Like, what's your distributor? What's my distributor? Who's your publisher? Are you self-published? Are you affiliated with this company? Blah blah blah. And then that's as simple as that. Because like with that example, like all right, you're the singer songwriter and I'm the producer composer, and even like with um the what you call it the publishing side and then the actual song, right, like the singer songwriter side, it's like we each own 50% of each,
okay,
you know what I mean? So it's like that's just what it is. And
right?
like I personally think that like unless it's more than like two people, like
Okay,
you should just do things evenly. It makes things easier,
understood.
whatever. You know what I mean? Like if you wrote the song and I wrote the verses and I produced everything, it doesn't matter. Like you know what I
The
mean?
same, it comes out the same amount of
Because
work. Yeah,
yeah, because you're obviously putting into production too. You're it's your song. You know what I mean? So you're co-producing. You're telling me how to arrange things and all that stuff too. So it's like my whole thing is just talk about all that stuff firsthand, especially once a finished product is done.
right,
You know what I mean? Like beforehand, even great. You know what I mean? Just even the general basis of splits. Just like, hey,
right.
what do you want
I
to
think that
do?
should come before.
Yeah.
And that's just learning with the album. My first ever piece. You're a vet at this,
Mm-hmm.
and there's always more to learn each day. But granted, there's like so much that I'm like, oh my god, I'm filling out credits like I'm filling out report cards.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's dope though.
yeah.
Especially, I feel like you wouldn't feel no type of way about doing that if you were honest about your I don't know, your work, like not your work, but yeah, your work ethic.
Yeah.
Um, because I think that's fair. I don't know. People think like the producer just made the beat, but like they don't get the amount of hours it took to make the beat,
Yeah.
or even chop it up, like you said, arranging. There's so many components that come into the music world. I cannot wait to edit this back because people need to know.
Or even just like understanding the basic component of beat maker and producer, two different things.
Right.
Artist and songwriter, two different things.
Right.
You know, one let's talk about the artist and songwriter. One literally writes and composes and arranges the song. The other one is the person who performs it.
Right.
You know what I
You
mean?
have like the Beyonce. 'Cause You
Exactly.
have to break it down into terms for people to. The Dream writes for Rock Nation,
Yeah.
and then Beyonce and gets the songs.
Or even there's people like I don't know if you're familiar with like Amber Mark. She's a
What's
singer.
going on?
She's a singer, songwriter, and producer.
Okay.
I don't know if she engineers either, but
wow, I
yeah.
would not be surprised if they
But
at this point. Look at
but yeah, like and it's just like that's dope. It's always dope to find people that can do all three or four, or whatever it is, or
Right.
just multifaceted,
Right.
in their career.
and then you get basically most of all your credits then, right?
Yeah, I mean,
At that point.
I would hope, man. Sometimes I'm not handling it on the front end. Sometimes like other people are registering stuff, so
Gotcha.
I put faith in people.
Right.
But yeah, it's just interesting that some people. I think a big proponent of it is some people they don't know about this stuff and then they get defensive because it's the lack of knowledge, and that's fine. Like I think a real master of something, they're always learning. You know what I mean? They don't know everything.
Gotcha.
And like even like you're teaching me things, I'm teaching you things, and
Right.
like the
I
it's
didn't know nothing.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's the ability to be able to take in information and just
Right.
be comfortable with that. And I feel like some people's natural reaction is to just be defensive about it, or like not want to do it, or be aggressive, and like it's okay, like that's fine. But also like at the end of the day, if you're gonna pursue this as a career,
Yeah.
that's something
The
that you
biggest
need to
of it,
know,
right.
and like just being able to receive information is a very important key.
But that's like something you should just start now locally before you was to jump out in the world, because you can get into a lot of, debt or trouble whichever way you end up going. We're just not clearing things, just, reaching out to artists or the music industry is just so there's so many moving parts to it
Yeah.
that I think that no matter what moving part it is, you should always be tuned into the people who played a part
For
with
example,
work.
right? For example, if you made a song with just by yourself, or no, let's say you made the song, we made a song together, right? And I didn't have any publishing information. I didn't have a publisher or like a PRO like BMI or ASCAP or CSAC, any of that.
Yep.
And we had our song sync licensed into a movie,
Oh wow.
right?
Yep.
That's how that works. That's how they collect from it,
Yeah.
right? So now that it's in the movie, you know what I mean? That's how we get paid on the back end from all those
Correct.
royalties. But you're going to get paid because your information is logged in. You have all that stuff, but I don't. And like that's very
true.
important. And I know people like think like, "Oh yeah, I got my song in a movie and that's dope." But like
But
if you don't
no.
have your information correct, then
That's true.
it doesn't work.
And I just think in general, when it comes to music and still learning and still entering data, there is so many people that play a part that I don't think anybody, no matter who it is, could ever say, unless you really truly did it, said you did it by yourself. And again, you have the people who does the songwriting and producing,
Mhm.
but when it comes to, I don't know, I just feel like there is no missing gap
Yeah.
when it comes to now that if you're going to be published on TV, you're going to be published on
Like radio,
the
like
radio, anywhere, because I'm on this stuff. Well, I'm not on the TV or anything like that yet, but applying to different things, it always says like, are you the primary owner? Did you do this, whatever like that? Like, are you the soul?
yeah.
And there's no way you could just be the soul if all you did was sing. Because if you didn't write the lyrics, who
Yeah.
wrote the lyrics then?
And
if you
even
didn't produce it, who to produce it then?
and even it all just everyone like if you have dual ownership over masters, like if we made the song right and it gets into like power or something,
Right, that's
we both
different.
have to agree to do it. You
Yeah.
can't just be like, well, I'm the singer songwriter, so
No.
like I did it. I'm the artist. You know
All
what I
I
mean?
know, if it goes into power, it's a rap, okay?
Yeah.
Curtis Jackson, we will be having some issues, okay? Because then I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna do you one better. Pull the song. I'm gonna give you five one better, and you better not ever do this again. And I better be using the rest of the seasons. But I feel like there's things called cease and slow
Cease
down.
and desist.
Cease and desist.
Okay.
Depending on how things go, but a conversation must be had. I think right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't care if you play the piano on the intro track because then guess what? Somebody might have just loved the piano
Mhm.
and not loved anything else about that.
Yeah.
So where's my credit for that piano coming in the beat?
Yeah.
Where's my credit for somebody just wanted to do a cappella
Mhm.
over the piano tunes? But we have to, I think, also to start posting more information about this stuff, um, and then taking the step where nobody can play us or nobody can like do wherever everything's in writing from now on. Square has a contract. I'm actually trying to like revamp the Square
Mhm.
template to send that out automatically to artists that I'm working with. Like this is the how much we agreed to. Then boom, this is how much what time needed by. But everything that contract should I feel like be force fed. I think that's the word I was trying to look for earlier. Force fed.
Mm.
Um, where if Rilla hits me up to do a project or I hit up Rilla to do a project, when the next email that should be going out after we both say yes is a contract saying like, all right, here's my BMI, ASCAP, or whatever all your information for royalties, where nobody has a chance to not ever say that they didn't get it,
Yeah.
because then now you just automatically gave it to them,
Mhm.
um, and there's no ifs or buts. Then on the byline, the terms and clause, if you was to use this without my knowledge of like that, then this is the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Because I only learned that from producers buying beats.
Mhm.
The beats I was buying on BeatStars and Track Train, they send a back contract, and it was just like after they get over to 10,000, whatever like that, you need to holler at me. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh snap,
Yeah.
or you only can do like one music video,
Yeah.
the radio,
Different
like
clauses,
different
man.
clauses.
It's
So
crazy.
now on the opposite end, instead of waiting for somebody to purchase this, oh, we just gonna automatically give it to you. I'm not gonna wait for you to ask for my BMI. I'm not gonna ask for you to wait for my ASCAP. And
Mhm.
there's like so many other royalties. I'm just those are the only two I know right now. I'm not gonna wait for you to ask the for licensing fees. That should be like its own clause now. This is free information right now, and I'm learning too. I don't got none of this stuff. But yeah, and that's bolded. If you're gonna do this, contact me. I don't care, and then you could put it. I don't know if you all know. Y'all want to know why y'all see McDonald's around for 20 years? They sign leases for 20 years. So you do the same thing.
Yeah.
And you be like, it's up for renewal in 20 years. Because guess what? You never know what's going to happen in like a song could blow today, tomorrow, 10-5. There's so many artists that shows me that. And like, I'm just like, okay. So,
And then there's situations where like, even just like on, because I don't really like, I do more or less like in-house production for people. I don't like just making beats randomly and trying to sell them. But yeah, like there's even the situation where you'll like lease out music to people, right?
yes.
And you can do like multiple leases, you know what I mean? And then someone wants to buy the exclusive rights to it.
Right.
And like once the leasing contract ups, like say it is like a year or two or 20 or whatever, that's it. Like, they just leased it or whatever the credentials in that agreement, it is what it is, you know?
That's a question. I'm so glad you just brought that up.
Yeah.
I'm so serious. Okay, so I don't know, people to be like scared to say what they're doing. I am leasing um the because this is what I learned for me. Like there's a point, but there's no point. I personally couldn't spend 200 on a beat, and then I was just like, I don't know which way this project's gonna go. So I learned leasing would be better.
Yeah.
But then I personally made friends with all the producers on the project, because then I was just like, oh, I wanted to do remixes. But then my question was, I was like, what if somebody bought one of the beats exclusively? Would I have to take my song down?
I think it all depends on what the leasing agreement you signed is, because like if the agreement's for a year, then you're within your right to have it up for a year or a certain play count, like you said, like 10,000 plays or something like
Right.
that, then you're within your legal right. Like that's what you guys agreed on. But like I think it all just depends on like whatever agreement
You guys had
you
okay.
guys had because it's like those things are just important things to have, like either written down or just a conversation like this. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because it's one of those things where the song does blow up, but then like someone else in
Takes it.
Germany or something
Yep.
owns the beat technically. So
Right.
now you gotta go through that
It
or
comes
like
to them right.
or remake the beat or something, and then
Right.
even with that, it's like now you're
Technically stealing a little bit.
it's like no, it's like sampling.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
So
that's stealing.
it's
Don't
yeah,
you
well not because like
Oh yeah, stealing. Yeah, I
steal
don't want to say that. That's true.
in my mind, stealing implies that like you stole it and there's
You're using
the
it for your own.
yeah,
Got
and
you.
like that's it. While
Sampling, you
sampling
just
is
wanted
like,
to.
all right, like now that you sample that beat, now if you sample one of my beats, right, like we have to talk about like publishing and stuff like that.
Got you.
Like how much
Do
do
you
I
get
get
from?
because you're using the likeness of my music for your music?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Just stuff like that.
I would say the best thing to do is keep a spreadsheet. That's what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was getting crazy. The BMIs, the artists, but shout out to my manager Jade. She helped with a big process of that. But like I just like business and keeping everything got but then it was just getting out of hand. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, there's 17 artists and there's Lord, like it was just getting out of hand.
Yeah.
But in a great way, but then it taught me so much about this process.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't say that, but I am keeping count and I am keeping track because I wouldn't want that to happen, like
Mm-hmm.
or me have to hit up one of our producers and be like, or they hit me up and be like, "Are you just out here using my music?"
Mm-hmm.
Um, nope. I tried. I bought everything through the websites.
Yeah.
I saved the little PDFs, but when it comes down to, huh, have anybody tried to get beats off of you? And I know people try to get free beats all the time,
Yeah.
but have they tried to get beats, then leave you on red after you sent them the beats, and then you heard the beats? Or do you tag your beats? I've been hearing about that. Like
Yeah.
producers are tagging the beats with, purchase your track today.
Mm-hmm.
I always bring this story up. Brandy Blaze was like, don't you ever send nobody the demo with that because I was playing them. I thought that was cool. No
Yeah.
bull. I didn't even think nothing of it.
Yeah. I mean, like it all depends on your outlook on it, but like watermarks and like sound and shit or stuff. But like watermarks and in the music is like it's cool because like one it does it can potentially protect you, and also it's like branding opportunity. You know what I mean? Because like my beat tag is high. You know what I mean? That's it.
For real?
Yeah, it's even on my sweater over there.
I didn't even. Have I noticed
It's like
that? Well, I'll
pretty.
put it up.
It's pretty new. It's like within the
Oh,
last 2 years.
okay. You know where I heard it? You be doing it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I've heard it in person, but you be doing it, and then you got the little swirl.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a swirl. You gotta watch his videos. He's like, hi.
Yeah. And then I just do
Like
stuff,
me.
and that's just it.
I be watching.
But like I don't know, like it just all depends on what your outlook is, what your goal is. Like for me, I'm not worried about people using the music because when it comes down to it, when I hope it doesn't come to this, but like if there's ever like a case in lawsuit, you know what I mean? Like then it's like, well, you're gonna have to prove where you got this. You don't
Right.
have the session files. Like you
That's
don't
true.
know. I know what kick I used
Right.
in the beat. Like I know because I mixed it and I did everything to it. You know what I mean? And like it's just like I don't know, just having that information on you and just even just like I don't know, just having all the source files, like when you're writing, like your notes folders and stuff, and everything in your computer, and just like little things that can protect you. But like whenever it gets serious, like you got to lawyer up, always,
Yeah.
always got to lawyer up. Like in the beginning stages, like not so much, but like once you get some serious stuff on the
And
table,
traction. Yeah.
definitely gotta figure out like if you get approached by a label or just a company trying to license your song or whatever the case may be.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you gotta figure it out, and like the the whole purpose behind all these contracts, it's legal jargon. It doesn't it's supposed to confuse you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's supposed to like
And that's why you see people just be like, all right, just do it. I'll just sign it
yeah
because they don't want to read it. And instead of reading it, they're just signing away their all their credits and
signing away their rights and
right.
stuff, or my favorite is like they give you an advance, and like
Oh my
people
goodness.
just even I just want to talk about that real quick, just like an advance, and people don't understand the difference between like an advance and like a signing bonus,
Come on.
because it's like, all right, like if I'm a record label and I sign you, right, for say, let's just rough numbers, like $500,000,
Hmm.
and I give you an advance for 300,000,
You're
right?
short
And then
already.
yeah, right? And then like marketing is 200,000. You
Yep.
still like the advance means
You
it's
just
money
pay
for you to
for
use.
to pay for your own self. Yep.
Yeah, but it's like you owe it back. But the difference is if I sign you for 500,000, you get a signing bonus of another 500,000. In most cases, you don't have to pay that back. That's what's called a bonus.
But I'm gonna say it again. If anybody want to give me a 360 deal,
It's crazy.
I don't got nothing to.
But even with that, it's like
It's well, yeah.
it's hard because unless you got everything straight and all the percentages right, like everything, the reason why it's 360 because everything the
Comes
label
right
does, it
back.
comes right back to the label.
Yep.
Like Little Yachty wasn't a 360
Yep.
deal. He didn't understand what it meant, but like Little Yachty was also getting all these dope opportunities.
Sponsorships,
Yeah,
right?
like he was a lead director of like Nautica,
Yep.
and he was in the Sprite
Sprite. Oh yeah.
commercials and like
Keep
all this
going.
stuff. You know what I mean? What, like
It, my thing
2016
is,
or
if
something
you're
like that?
comfortable with it, then do it. I read that like from this like music publisher site or whatever, like
Yeah.
DJ Booth or something. But they say that like if that's not your lifestyle, then you can't do that. Some people it works for, some people it don't. I think you choose what's best for you, but then remember, it's gonna be you at the end of the day who has to live with, the choice you make. But the music industry, I feel like on the local level, there's just so much information that can be taught or learned so there's not mistakes being made, even down to marketing. I read it earlier. Let me see if I can pull up this tweet so I can save this on when I edit this back. But I retweeted it I think earlier or yesterday. Let's see. Okay, I don't know who needs to hear this, but stop. Well, let me repeat it back. I don't know who needs to hear this, but stop dropping new music and promote the bleep you already have out. It's almost 8 billion people on Earth. Stop giving up so easy on your records and actually invest in some money into marketing. I actually agree with that. Um, I don't speak as the person who just came out with work, but I speak as like the outside consumer DJ who's listening to music. There's a lot of people just coming out with content on top of content on top of content, and nobody has time to digest it. And it's good if we were a bigger city that could branch out, and our marketing was a little bit
Hmm.
up there. But the flood of music, I feel like, can be calculated in Boston, where we can push everybody, where I can find out who's dropping on a Friday, and then we can get that everybody dropping on a Friday, boom.
Hmm.
Whoever's dropping on Tuesday, boom.
And I just feel like that even with the tweet's just so dope because people don't realize that their music is their product. Like you like if you're an artist or a producer or whatever musician, you are a business and
Right.
your music is your product,
Right.
and then performance is your service.
Right.
And you don't just like imagine if McDonald's just made the Big Mac and talked about it one time and then that's it. Like that doesn't make any
And
sense.
expect people just to eat the Big Mac.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
even just like Apple, they just came out with the iPhone 12, right? What if they just stopped marketing it after the iPhone 1? And it's like, well, we got iPhones.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
No.
we're going to talk about one time. Like, no, they spend millions and billions of dollars on marketing because like it's important.
Right.
I think, and also I think it's very important to understand to change your definition of what old is, because what old is to you is new to someone else.
Thank you.
Like I'm still getting email. Like, okay, perfect example. I met um Amanda Shea, right?
I was like,
Like
Amanda. Yep.
like 2 years ago,
Uh huh.
and then for the last 2 years I've known her. What, 2 years ago in 2018. I sent her music I had, like my top performing songs on Spotify and stuff. They were like from 2016 and 2015, 2014. So all these are my favorite songs. I'm like, but they're 3 years old,
Right. It's beautiful.
4 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even today, like someone Instagrammed me the other day, like saying like, oh, My biggest song on Spotify is it's called Salutations. It's like the first track off my EP,
Yep.
and like it's funny because I spent like 10 minutes making that song. I just need the intro, like boo, 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 okay, now it's done.
And that was that the a song that you expected to.
No, I just
Oh,
needed a song, and it got like 2.5, 2.6 million on
look
Spotify.
good.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, but like
Right.
I don't like I pushed that project so much.
Yep.
Like I put like years and years, and even still now, like that project's title name is R&BDM, and like now that's like I identify with that genre.
Right.
So it's like even still, it's still promoting it. Like you know what I
Right.
mean? Like
It's
when people ask me what I make, what I do, it's like, oh, I make R&BDM. They're like, what's that? I'm like, well, I made this project and da da da,
and here you go.
and now this is my genre. So
Right.
you know what I mean? And
Create your own. Um, I think that's awesome though too. Like you're definitely one person who just takes your craft and run with it in an amazing way, and not
thank you.
let certain stuff like hinder you. Like your production is crazy, and people say producing, but I'm like, no, your production like overall is crazy. Um, and no, I'll say Amanda, Brandy, they're all good for that. Like they'll be pulling up songs. Like they're like, I don't listen to the stuff people just drop. Like they'll be listening to
Mm-hmm.
tracks. Like, and I feel like that's how you get to know the artist though too.
You have a
Um,
catalog. You have to.
right, right. Like you can't just hop in anywhere. And then be like, I don't like this. What they just came out with. Well, did you hear their previous work, or did you
Mm-hmm.
hear it? Like, you have to go through everything.
the the best artists, in my opinion, when you're finding new artists, is the one where you can see their story and you can see how they developed to this point now.
Right.
Because a lot of times, like, there's gonna be like, I until I have a bigger song, people are gonna gravitate towards that salutation song that I dropped and be like, oh, this Rilla Force is dope, and then they'll like figure out like, oh, that was 5 years ago.
Right.
Let's like listen to
What is
let's
going
go on
on?
to the journey. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and just having a catalog is just important, and
Right.
even just like utilizing that, just like another part of the etiquette, like not just changing what's new for you, and not holding on to what's right now. Like you have to realize like, okay, you have a whole bevy of songs. If you have 45 songs in a span of 3 years,
Right.
then use all the 45 songs, not the 5-track mixtape you just dropped. Like use all like
Right. There's
everything.
52 weeks. You can promote a song each week.
Yeah.
Free game. Free game.
Do the Rust thing.
Yeah,
Just drop a song. But even still, like he said it best. It's just like he did that whole formula. He dropped a song like every week for like a year or
Shout out
two
to
or something
Trevor
like
Holmes.
that.
He's dropping a song every Friday.
Yeah.
Drop this up tomorrow.
And it's impressive, and like
Right.
it doesn't. The whole point is like, for example, when Trevor does get like his quote unquote break, whatever that means to him,
Yep.
you know what I mean? It's gonna pay off because not only people are gonna listen to that song that popped off, they're gonna go through his whole catalog.
And be like, this is what you was doing this whole time? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just thinking ahead while using the stuff you already made.
Come on. And a lot of you all, again, I'm new to this work. Like, I feel like I'm more just like an arranger at this point. But, like, you all have a catalog. Like, you all probably can drop music like that if you really wanted to each
Yeah.
week. Um, and I think it's so dope. But we go back to music etiquette. How can we channel all this stuff in and just keep the. Don't give up, you all. I think that's
Mhm.
what, like, don't give up. Um,
Facts.
so that's like the first thing. But then, two, don't try to jump the ball game or try to uh, skip ahead of the game
Mhm.
without doing the proper research and the proper knowledge, because you don't want to screw anybody over out here. This work is intense. It's tedious on the business side, but don't short the people who need food too. Like
Yeah.
everybody wants to make it to whatever level of
Mhm.
success, like you said. So if we out here making a song, don't be out here taking everything, Rilla.
Yeah. No, but that's facts. Because I'm not entitled to it, and like a
Right.
lot of the things is like a big entitlement problem, or even just like, yeah, entitlement. Because I tell people like I everything I do is off of music, and I'm able to pay my rent and my bills and groceries and stuff like that. And it's not always like that. Sometimes I have to rely on my partner or whatever.
Right.
But like the
We
whole
got
point
real
is,
life issues, y'all. Real
yeah,
life issues.
and it's just one of those things where you know I got here through mistakes, and I got here through like trials and tribulations, and a lot of error, a lot of error. You're going to mess up
Right.
all the time, and
Right.
it's fine. Like, but you have to go through it. You can't bypass it. Like, for example, like I'm managing. You've met Malia,
Yes.
like, right? She's like that. Like, she wants. I don't think she wants to skip everything,
Yep.
but like she definitely wants what I have right now, and I told her like, yo, like you gotta just
Go through the
you gotta go through the motions. You gotta go through your journey because like there's everything like all my music that's out right now. There's thousands of more songs you haven't heard because I took it down because it's not part of my journey.
right.
Doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? And like there's things that like songs I don't own because of bad deals or just things like that. You know, like everyone needs to go through it. Everyone needs to go through it, and you can't go through it through someone
I
else.
don't,
You
right.
know what I mean? It just be
That's so true.
yeah.
I definitely agree because I'm just like, oh, well, that's one thing I learned though too. I'm just like, just because you have friends or whoever in the same field or industry, that everybody is not going to treat you that way, or it's not going to be the same. Everybody has their own path, um, and I'm glad for that because I'm like, I already seen people like, oh, just because I'm with Brandy Blaze doesn't mean they gonna give me Brandy Blaze's deals. Like, you know,
Yeah.
so like it doesn't work like that, and that's perfectly fine. Like that's the industry, but some people, you know, we might entitlement look for that, but then I just wish locally, if I can get on the train, the MBTA to you, if I can take a Lyft or Uber to you,
Mhm.
there's no reason why anybody's entitled or should in the city right now at all.
Yeah.
And even if I couldn't take a Uber or whatever that like that to you, and I had to go press the gate and get into your crib,
Mhm.
right is right and wrong is wrong. I think I want to do like another deep down discussion about music etiquette though,
We should.
and do it in like
Mhm.
sections because this
Mhm.
can get we can do the DJs just
Yeah.
strictly
Even
the
that.
promoters,
Mhm.
um,
The
the marketer, like everything.
even like just like the unsung heroes is like all the sound people, all the people
Okay,
that do engineering
right.
at live venues and in studio. Like people don't talk about that
At
stuff. It's
all.
like, well, we all want to sound crispy and dope, right? But
Right.
then you're just caring about the front person.
Yep.
You're caring about the person who's performing.
Shout out to every single venue I walked in, and I'm glad I can say certain stuff publicly.
Every single one.
Every no, seriously, every single one. The first people I say hi to
Yeah.
is the sound.
Yeah. Got
I
you.
I don't care about security. I don't care about Brandy once we walk in the door. I don't care about nobody.
Damn.
I know that's a jacked out. Like I actually need to care
Smoke.
about that, right? uh, but no, I always make sure I say hi to them, and talk to them, and I'm not just like, all right, make sure you know this is okay. But those are the people running the show, and they are the people who can make sure you sound horrible too,
Yeah.
because you're treating them like whatever. So like, th- yeah, I'm going to also see. Let's see if we can get an entertainment lawyer on this. I think I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah.
Um,
That's amazing.
Definitely gonna work on that because there's somebody else who just brought up some issues that they reached out to me,
Mhm.
and I think it's just about knowledge and just that Q&A. What is it? The frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
But this should be like the unfrequently asked questions
Mhm.
though, because sometimes people don't know. And again, sometimes people try to play you. But Spark FM, Lunch is Over, Rilla Force, aka TPain, and I'm gonna be Future today. TPain and Future. Actually, today they made a song together, right?
Really?
Bugatti? No. I woke up in my new
That was
That's a
Ace. That's Ace Hood
yeah, and
and Future and bunch of people.
so they're in the song together.
Someone has a song with T-Pain.
There we go. It's them. Those is TPain.
No,
Oh,
I'm
it's
just
not
saying a
them.
blanket statement. Just someone has a song with T-Pain.
Oh, I would say I knew they had an issue because
T-Pain and Future.
yeah, because Future when Future had first came on, he was using T-Pain's Bugatti, and T-Pain, I will never forget this. And T-Pain was basically like, "Oh, what did he say? Like it's my Bugatti. He could afford it or whatever like that."
Oh wow.
And they just had like this little debacle, but it was just like that little heat of the moment when everybody from was rising up,
Yeah.
and that.
I know T-Pain has a lot, not a lot of beef, but just like has a lot of muck with like a lot of the newer artists because
Oh yeah,
like
they're trash. I heard about them.
and just because you know he's not the originator of auto tune and stuff like that, but he definitely
He
put it.
paved the way.
Yeah, he put it on the map
Major
in a
and
commercial
that was a good
way.
look back though too,
Yeah.
with them too because then Future had came
Mhm.
up. Um,
No one wanted to pay homage.
right, and that's the thing that we get stuck on in this industry, not paying homage. I'm just like, yo, there's just somebody inspired you. Nobody did this on their own.
Yeah.
Like nobody did, especially in the major music industry. Like T Pain was, he was featured on almost everybody's stuff back then.
Yeah, I think he had. I think he did 60 features in one summer.
Like every time you turn around, his voice was on
Yeah.
there. I say between him and Akon had a great run too. But
Oh
when
yeah.
we talk about TPain, like TPain, literally couldn't get him off the tracks.
That's my favorite artist.
But no, we're gonna bring on an entertainment lawyer. We're gonna talk about actually that's gonna be the next topic. And it's gonna be T-Pain's gonna be the highlight though,
I think.
because he proved an amazing point. It was like how people treat him in the industry. Like
Mhm.
there was like the Travis Scott.
Oh
Incident.
yeah, that's garbage.
That's
Poo poo.
I'm just mad all over like the amount of money wasted,
Yeah.
and that happens locally though too. People waste a lot of people's
Oh
time.
yeah.
So it's just like it doesn't have to be a $500,000 session. It could be a $50 session. That's
Mhm.
still a waste of money. Like
Yeah.
so um yikes.
There was something I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And a bunch of artists brought it up in the past. I think Chance the Rapper was a big advocate of it, but I think I honestly think that there should be some type of union with independent artists, like a music union, and like artists and producers and all creatives in the musical sonic field, because it's just like
There's so many of them at this point.
there's so many people getting played,
Yeah.
and like there's not. It's like the cycle keeps happening. Like labels are making like 80-90% of
Right.
things off of artists, and then artists are getting played.
And I think also too though with these labels, I'm just gonna call it out, right? A lot of these labels are just labels. Like they really, no shade, no shade. That's why I ain't gonna say no names, but like a lot of labels, because I want boss the guy next to me up
Yeah.
there. But they're building labels just to get an artist and not building a relationship. Like they don't care really about the artist; it's just about the money.
No.
So then also too, the people who are running the labels, like we think about like L.A. Reid, the bigger guys.
Mhm.
It didn't even get to them yet, right? Like that's like you're going to the Supreme Court, the big guys.
Mhm.
We got like people who's under them who are signing these labels, and then they're funneling it up. But what they don't understand is that though, like the middleman, white man,
Mhm.
is twisting the black man's balls, and
Well,
black
yeah.
woman's yeah.
The yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I'm about to keep that.
I'm definitely gonna say that like 4 more times today.
I'm glad it's recorded. I'm gonna be like, yeah, you did, yeah. No,
I'm gonna sample it.
okay, now I'm thinking about what I said about the guys and the girls. I'm like, this sounds horrible. Like, this is not okay.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's fine. It's funny.
Wait, where was we at?
The white man.
Yeah. Oh, so they're thinking it's just like my homeboy who got the diamond chains or like that, but it's still answering to the white man, and they're thinking that they're getting some deal, but then they got played right by him. So we didn't get up to Supreme Court L.A. Reid type style yet. The homeboy with the chain got played by the local white boy, and then now because you got played, they got to play the artist. Because I feel like there's literally like 5 steps now in the industry.
Oh yeah. I saw, I forget what it was from. I think it was like Noisy or something, or Vice, but I saw this video of this old music exec. He probably like a 50-year-old white man from like England or something like that. But an old music exec from like Columbia Records or something, where he was talking about how they signed Curtis Mayfield or something, and how he opened a record shop because he's making money from the label, because he owns stock in the label, and the label owns people's they're called legacy artists, like once you pass away.
Okay, yep.
You know what I mean? And they own the music. They own like 90, damn near like 95, 85, 80% of the music. So it's like that's how the way I think about it is like you can have a million Rilla Forces and like DJ WhyShams and Brandy Blaze or Oompa, whoever it is, right? And then it takes like that one Drake to make it all worth it, because that's where that money's coming from. They're just generating millions and billions of dollars. The one artist, you know what I mean? So then like they can afford to sign us. They can afford to throw the $500,000, because if it doesn't work, like you're signing a deal for $500,000-$600,000 in the course of like, like say like a 2-3 album deal, or like even a timely period, like a 5-year deal. Meanwhile, Drake just netted $2 billion.
Right.
Not even gross. Like the label bin got paid. Like Drake's taking home $2 million. So it's like, of course, like you know what I mean. Like, like it's just we just need a union. We need to make things more fair.
When I say it makes sense, I'm saying what you're saying makes sense. But yes, we do need a union. Like
yeah,
that's jacked up.
Because like it makes sense for the label, but not for us.
Right.
Like I honestly think like, and people may not agree with me because I'm just like if the label's gonna give you that much money, I'm cool with 50%. Like just 50, like 50-50, just like keep it like that, keep it a buck. Because at the end of the day, it's like you have situations like who was it? Is it like Lil Uzi Vert, where he actually had a pretty standard deal, like it wasn't anything crazy, but he was complaining about how I think it was like 3 years ago, when he finally got like his statements back for like EXO Tour Life. He made like almost $1 million, but that's all he made off that song.
I didn't know that, and that was a big song.
Yeah, like a big song. And like granted, like that's a lot from one song, not even his whole catalog. That's true. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking this is after he recouped. You know what I mean? So like now he's profiting. Right. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I'm like, well, you're not. There's no deficit anymore. You're like, you don't owe any more money. Right. Like, I understand you want more money because you deserve more money, but this is what you signed up for, and you're profiting now. So it's like like it's just like those situations where like the artists think they're in a bad deal. Maybe it's not as bad as I interpreted, or it's actually worse. But if you're making that much money off your one song, and that's like 15 to 10% of owning it, then like that's crazy. That's sad and dope at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it obviously could be more, but you're in a position where you can do more. You're not like random Joe Schmo who still owes $300,000. You know what I mean?
You gotta be on tour. You gotta be selling water bottles. You gotta be online every day posting.
And even
buy my
like,
album, buy my
and even now, like you can't tour. Like what are you gonna? You know what I mean? Like so. I know labels are really getting a big hit from that. Like
I just got an email. Dang, it's deleted. Let me see. Oh, we got 2 more minutes. Let me see.
Okay.
2:57. I got an email, and it was like Boston shows, and it was like, oh, cancel. 2021. I'm like, at this point, people should be looking into virtual tours.
Yeah.
And then like, I know the economy is trash right now.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't pay honestly over $30 for like a concert. Or I probably wouldn't pay for it at all because it's going to be online the next day. Yeah. So, like, it's tough because I'm, like, in the middle. I was like, I'm not going to watch it, but I'm like, well, watch me, though.
After this is done, I've thought about that, like, 2 years ago. I want to talk to you about it. It's cool.
Y'all have any final thoughts or words? Hit us up in the comments. Hit us up on Spark FM like it's over. I'm going to say this at the end. My account's down for whoever's watching us back on Instagram, but follow us on Boston Got Next. And we will be back with some more music etiquette. We got Rilla Force every last Thursday in the building, but make sure you go vote. That is one person. I haven't been pushing voting on BMA.
Oh, word. I said a word.
Oh, because it gets tricky and gets spicy with the BMAs right
now.
Yeah. But vote for me. Vote for Rilla Force, and we'll see you all.
That's it.
Let me figure out. Boom. We're going to end there.